fam.news.
Today, we are exploring how mattress companies can revolutionize their businesses with artificial intelligence and Chat GPT and more. Discover how these cutting-edge technologies are reshaping customer experiences, optimizing businesses, personalizing shopping, and even automating customer service. And that's just scratching the surface. Mattress business expert and the CEO of Autonomous Retail Technology, Brandon Hufstetler, is here to share his perspective on this digital transformation. The FAM podcast begins right now.
1894, Max Englander hand-built the first Englander mattress. Today, Englander mattresses are still bench-made right here in the USA. Proven materials, expertly layered, and every stitch triple-checked. All for you. Englander, better sleep by design.
Hey, are you a mattress retailer looking to supercharge your business? Introducing Podium, your secret weapon. I use it, I'm a huge fan of it, and with Podium's AI-powered lead conversion, you can engage with customers in seconds via text, making it feel like they're talking to a friend. But hey, that's just the beginning. Podium offers texting, payments, reviews, website chat, and more, all in one place. You've got to be the most responsive retailer to help customers solve those sleep problems in the moment. Harness the power of Podium today and start growing your business. Visit podium.com right now to learn more.
Welcome to the FAM podcast with Mark Kinsley. This is where the best in the bedding business get even better.
Whenever I talk about Chat GPT and AI, people are either excited or scared. Brandon Hufstetler, the CEO of Autonomous Retail Technology, welcome back to the podcast. We promised everybody when we talked about TSI Mat Firm, we would dig into this incredible area of advancement. So thank you so much for coming back on the show, Brandon.
Thanks for having me back.
Do you get the same thing from people? Like when you're talking AI, Chat GPT, automation, are people like, I'm in or scared? Do you kind of get that whiplash effect or those two sides?
Scared, curious, and I'm all three of those. Just depends on the time of day with this technology. It's just moving so fast and furious, and I think just the general tech world itself doesn't understand or can't comprehend just kind of where it's going in itself. So I think that's a natural feeling.
Yeah, you and I have talked about some of like the real tactical ways and the strategic ways and the automated ways you were using artificial intelligence and automation and generative AI. The cool thing I think about your businesses is the fact that you have this sandbox. It's not only a sandbox, it's a real world application. So you own Sleepology, and Sleepology is an online mattress store. And this online mattress store, you get to try out all these different ideas that Autonomous Retail Technology then offers to mattress suppliers and manufacturers and retailers. Let's go granular right out of the gates, because people out there, I think, are like, oh, maybe I can like type something into Chat GPT and it can write an article for me or do a social media post. Talk about the ways you're using generative AI and automation in Sleepology. Take us tactical.
Absolutely. We are going deep right out of the gates here. So we use it in every facet of the business. I literally try to, and I'm probably over the top in that we're literally trying to automate every single thing within the business to make it run autonomously and more efficiently. And you said right now we're e-commerce. We have a solid plan to be in physical brick and mortar where we would have employee-less stores. So this goes well beyond just the e-com side of things that I'll speak to about right now. But we use it to, from marketing perspective to measuring the effectiveness of Google Ads and some of those things to better understanding our customers and where they shop through geoframing and fencing exercises to we literally from blog posts to even creating podcasts and things like that. We try to automate everything, and a big component of that allows us to do that is AI and in concert, I should say, with automation, because AI alone can generate something for you, but then it still requires somebody to go out there and do something with it. And so when you have both automation and AI in concert, working in concert together, I think that's when the beauty occurs and when you can really accelerate your business.
So for people who don't understand that harmony between automation and AI and how it works, give us like a really specific example. Like let's talk about like a social media post for your business. How would that
Sure.
work in concert?
Sure. Well, for me, it's kind of it's working right now. Even though I'm here on this podcast, it's all automated, right? So you set up triggers that say, "Hey, produce a post based on this context," or scrape these posts, and you determine which one you find is the most effective. Create a post, and then create an image, and then go out there and post this on this platform or that platform or every platform. At this time of day, on this day, or what have you. So it's literally from, and you set up this trigger. You could say every Tuesday, like we talked about this, every Tuesday that you would have a post about, a sleep joke or a sleep tip or how to design your bedroom to make it a warm and calming environment, or just whatever you want. The world's your oyster in that capacity. That just every Tuesday, or however you want to set the automation up, it automatically creates it, generates the images and the posts that are distinct to this individual social media platforms or whatever, and then goes out there and posts those, and then it'll notify you. Obviously, if you want to have notifications set up to say, "Hey, this is what happened, and this is the actual post."
See, and we're just talking about a very specific example to help you understand what's possible. You can have it, for example, I want to get a digest of everything that's happening in the mattress industry. So I created an automation where I scrape all of the trade publications. Anytime a new story is published, that RSS feed comes into this automation. And what happens next is it goes to Chat GPT, and Chat GPT summarizes that article, and then it summarizes that article and it batches it together with the other articles that are posted that week, and it comes into my email inbox. And then if I wanted to, I can even create an automation where that publishes to the fam.news website. And we've done that as an experiment, and it's very fascinating. Now, I want to zoom out a little bit because we're talking very marketing focused, but I know with your business, Brandon, we've talked about what autonomous retail technology is doing for people on the supply side, manufacturing side, and the retail side. And one of the analogies that I heard about generative AI, Chat GPT AI, however you want to talk about it, is that it's almost like Iron Man, the movie. And in the beginning, Iron Man had the only suit. And so he was the superhero. But by the time you get to the third Iron Man, everybody has the suit. It was about who used it the best. Mm-hmm. And that has been the democratizing effect, I think, of generative AI. Everybody has the suit. It's not the coders. It's not the expert marketers. It's not the data scientists. We all have the suit, and it is ChatGPT, generative AI, and it's about who can use it the best. And I think that accelerant is available to all of this, but it's making a decision about how we're going to use it, and also understanding our business enough to know what can be automated and what maybe still needs that human touch. As you've been digging into your projects, are you explaining it in a similar way, and how are you helping people understand the possibilities here and then implement those?
That's a great explanation. And I love that movie, that series of movies. The way I've explained it is very similar. But I kind of do go back in time to when the World Wide Web was first starting up, and everybody I say for the most part, people had access to the web, and anybody could use it in any capacity they want. Some people used it to create things. Some people used it to consume things. And so this is the next wave, in my opinion. This is the next wave of the World Wide Web, where exactly as you laid out, you can use it in so many different capacities that the ability to create some of those could be personalized for your own specific business, or they could be something that could be plug and play from multiple businesses. But that's kind of the way I explain is if you could go back in time and look at and re-experience the World Wide Web all over again, what would you like to do differently utilizing that tool? And here we are today in that exact same environment, maybe even more powerful than the World Wide Web, just how simple things are to create and generate products out of this capability.
And I think it is more powerful than the World Wide Web because even look at how people used Google whenever it first came out. And even now, they ask it questions. And then you have to go through all the links and then go to those websites and then search through those websites to get the answers to those questions. And even then, sometimes you're like, I don't know. And then do you ever make it to the third page of Google? No. I heard somebody say one time, the best place to hide a body is the third page of Google. So now you have Chat GPT, let's call it, searching the web as well and going into its large language model, its LLM, to synthesize and produce answers. And sometimes those answers are wrong and sometimes they're right. But think about if you would have made it, click through all the blue links on Google, and I finally made it to that page and I got information, but it could still be wrong. It's better than anything I've ever seen. And the app that I'm using right now on your phone, and I'm a paid user of ChatGPT, is becoming conversational in a way that I've never seen. Let's think of something fun here, and we'll just ask it.
Okay.
So it's connecting right now, and this is what it looks like. Hey, we're doing a podcast right now, and I want to know.
Seems like you might be trying to share an image or a document related.
Okay, hold on a second. Retake. Hey, we're doing a podcast right now about how ChatGPT and AI is going to affect mattress retailers. What should we tell people? It's the
Fascinating topic for your podcast. When discussing how ChatGPT and AI might affect mattress retailers, consider these points. Personalization. AI can analyze customer preferences and sleeping habits to recommend the perfect mattress, enhancing the shopping experience. Customer service. Chatbots like ChatGPT.
Oh, so I stopped him. We can play more of that later. So that's the type of experience that the user, that the consumer is going to start having with the technology, and that's the backdrop or the technology that can power your business as well. So, Brandon, as you've dug into people's businesses, what are some of those use cases that you've seen that have surfaced themselves through those conversations with like your clients, for example?
Yeah. Well, one of them I'm going to bring up. Beat our own chest because this was such a transformational experience for us on Sleepology. So we developed a digital human of sorts to help guide the shopper through to narrow down the mattress selection based on what their needs are. And so we had traditionally had like a kind of like a survey where they would go click through and click, do you sleep by yourself or whatever, and ultimately would curate. Here's your 3 top recommendations. But we actually created a digital human that walked through conversationally some of their needs. And what we immediately saw was 37% engagement rate on any shopper who landed or any visitor who landed on that site that had that. So we replaced the chatbot with this digital human. And some of the conversations that people are willing to open up to when they see somebody but know that it's not a real person are that was probably the biggest wow moment for me. And that they're willing to share some really intricate details about their struggle with sleep and and the real purpose for needing a mattress that you might not necessarily get out of them on a face-to-face with a real human or even a chat bot that's stuck in the bottom right-hand corner of your site. So not only did engagement go to 37%, but the how we're able to better serve those customers who visited, those guests who visited the site was just transformational, in our opinion, and I know in theirs. In talking to them after delivery.
What an incredible use case! And if you think about it, just even if you're not an online retailer in a traditional sense, like let's say that you consider yourself a brick and mortar retailer, I've seen the numbers like around 85% of all mattress purchases begin online because people are in the search phase. They're checking out products, they're checking out your retail store. So your ability to actually engage the consumer whenever they are on your website is critical, is absolutely critical. So that stands out. I mean, there's a nuance there. The nuance is it a little chatbot stuck in the bottom right-hand side of your screen? Is it a contact form? No, it's neither of those things. It looks like a person. They know it's not a real person, and magically they're open to opening up.
Yeah, and people are reading less words on the screen, right? And we're all moving so fast in our daily lives. It's more about pictures, and they remember photos. People remember photos much longer than they remember words and faces. And so we kind of said, oh, well, now we have a face for the brand that we can then leverage and engage shoppers. And our particular one's called Mia. And so Mia can engage. And we actually have customers who write customer reviews and saying that, what a great help Mia was. So they actually associate Mia with a real person because it gets to that personalization, that level of personalization that is only capable because of technology like AI.
And if you want to look at where this use case is going, you can imagine, Bob's Discount is a really big retailer, and Bob has turned into this like cartoon character, probably to get him out of having to do all the commercials over the years. A lot of mattress retailers can understand that. I think that's why Trent did a puppet at Trent Bedding, to give him a little relief from being on camera. But you are going to be able to essentially clone the voice of the founder or the owner, or create a voice. You're going to be able to have that voice have a conversation with the consumer if they want to have it through audio on the computer. You'll be able to create an avatar of yourself as the founder or whoever the face of your brand is, and have that. So it may not be Mia, but you can really recreate yourself into this digital format to have real conversations with people. And you want to talk about engagement. If you can elegantly present that experience and it's not clunky and it doesn't turn people off, you're in for some real magic, I think, in terms of engagement and hopefully conversion.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I think customers might appreciate it, because when you come to a website, every new website you go to, even though there are certain structures and there's best practices of putting the menu here and close it out here or there, to narrow down the number of products is quite the journey. If you think about, on average, customers look at 200 mattresses before they make their selection, and that includes online and in store. And so if they're trying to whittle down the selection from 200 down to one and have that be the right one, the odds of them getting it right on their own is very, very slim. And so introducing something in a digital environment or even a physical environment that can help narrow that selection down and process all the data, it's not influenced one way or the other. It's just influenced based on the customer's needs, and it's extremely empathetic into what they input into the AI. I think that goes a long way for helping them find the right mattress the first time.
Okay, so we dove right into it. We got very tactical, granular with AI and GPT. We're talking with Brandon Hufstetler, CEO of Autonomous Retail Technology. And Brandon, I want to zoom out a little bit. How do you tell people what you do and what your company does?
That's a great question. So, and it can get complicated really, really quickly. But what we do is we try to accelerate a traditional retailer or manufacturer or supplier. We try to accelerate their technological capabilities and really bridge the gap between the business needs and IT. Because IT today, they have these most larger organizations, even regional size organizations, they have an IT department. Or if you're smaller, you may have an outsourced IT team that really is responsible for maintaining your systems and securing your systems. But that doesn't really help evolve your brand or evolve your operations. And especially as we progress further and the customer needs evolve and change, the business needs to get closer to technology very, very quickly. And so that's kind of the gap that we bridge. So whether it's data projects or ERP migrations on the back end. If it's the plumbing, we do the plumbing side, or we do the fun, colorful stuff like the AI and the digital human side of things, or the automation, the retail automation side. So we kind of run the gamut there. And we're very fortunate that we have a skill set to be able to do really A to Z from a technology capacity. And we work really, really well with existing IT teams and understand the business side as well.
Let's give an example of that on the business side in relation to the IT or the technology side. One of the things I think is most exciting about AI and generative AI in businesses is you can connect all of your different departments that typically don't talk to each other, whether it's finance, operations, marketing, human resources, legal. So you have all these different sales, you have all these different departments, and people have questions about the business that they need answered. And so the possibilities now are that you can pipe all of these different departments into one centralized database that you can talk to. And so let's say that you're in a leadership position and you have a store that's 2 hours away, and you just want to know real quickly, what are the sales this month versus same time last year? You can now, if your data is properly placed and accessible, now you can just chat with it, and it's going to tell you about that information. And then you can not only get information about that, you can say, hey, I'm also running into a meeting here in 10 minutes. What are 5 questions I need to ask about our sales in order to surface any issues or communicate better with our management? So now you can not only access this institutional knowledge, you can do something with it in the moment, and it's incredibly powerful.
Yeah, that second example, I think, is one that most people don't think of, and that just you have the ability to ask to ask this advisor of sorts, this AI advisor, what questions should I be asking? Because if I'm in a position where I'm about to walk into a retailer and have a conversation, and my manager is with me, I would feel a little bit, what would they think if I asked them, my manager, what questions should I be asking? Like, I should come prepared with that. And so having a muse or an advisor in an AI capacity allows you that freedom and security to be vulnerable and ask it questions that you wouldn't normally ask a human. I think that really could help prepare you and accelerate you for those conversations. And I know your customer base would appreciate some of those thoughtful questions as well.
I was having a conversation with a very large retailer. They do over $1 billion in sales. So you can probably narrow down who's on that list. And we were having a conversation about how they were concerned that, generative AI could make their managers worse. And my response, this person was more like the cynical side, and I was being more of the hopeful side. And so we kind of took that angel devil approach, and we had a great conversation around it. And my thought process was, how could it make your management better in terms of coming to your Saturday morning meeting and being supplied with everything that was most relevant to the business that week, or even waking up on a Monday morning, stumbling into the office and knowing, here are the different deliveries that are scheduled today. Here are the different customer service issues that we need to be dealing with as a team. Here are the different goals that we've outlined in sales this week. Here's the product that needs to move, that we're ready to mark down. And you have this dashboard that supplies you with information that you don't have to go look up in all these different places, and it's automated to make you a better manager. That was my thought process.
Yeah, exactly. You take that same manager, they would have to go in, let me pull this information from, let's say, this system or this system or this system, put it all together. And then once I get it all together, let's say that takes 30 minutes to an hour, whatever, then they have to then analyze it themselves. Then they have to interpret, pull out the insights, and then what questions should I be asking about those insights? That's assuming that the insights are easily identifiable. There's several rabbit holes during that analysis process that people go down and never come up from. they have to pull those insights out, and then they have to come up with the questions, and then they have to come up with an action plan and pull other people in and delegate and all that. What if you took all of that work, the manual effort, and automated that to where now you're paying them to make strategic decisions? That's the reason behind their name is manager. It's not to do things, it's to think. So less doing and more thinking. I think that's what this technology enables people to do.
Brandon, as you've been working with people around implementation of technology, I know you've done everything from, hey, let's help people automate some of their social media, all the way up to giant projects within organizations that have IT departments and businesses separated from that. What do you find to be the most kind of like aha moments, or people saying, yeah, we're on board with this now. We're not scared of it?
I think the efficiencies. At some point, you have to weigh the pros and cons of resources needed, or the investment, to then ultimately get to a point where you might not need those resources, or you could reallocate those resources for something else. So it almost always comes down to a resource question of resources, and those resources could be time or they could be money. And so that's usually what it comes down to. Once they're able to see how much time this saves them, or how much money this saves them in the long run, honestly, it becomes a no-brainer, because it's also a lot of, especially around the creative aspect of the generative side of things, is that to come up with unique ideas that are on brand and content that is on brand takes time. Nobody really appreciates the amount of time it takes for some of these creative agencies or designers or whatever to come up with this content. So to have something that accelerates that, just that piece of it, saves so much time and energy and effort, and it's all on brand as well, and it can crank it out like that. I think that it makes it easy for them to at least experiment with some of this technology. And that's what I would recommend doing, is just dip your toe in the water. Nobody's saying you've got to dive off of a cliff. Just dip your toe in the water and try some things.
Yeah, try some things, experiment. Go to Chat GPT and create your own little bot. Let's do an experiment right here. I'll show you what I've done behind the scenes, because what you just, yeah, I know I'm a little nervous to do the live stuff too, but what you've described, I think, is a real important pause point. If you're working with an agency, or you have a writer or a creative team, a lot of times you got style guides and you have some things that from a design perspective you can control, but from a content and a messaging and a copy standpoint, my gosh, how much of that is required, and how much of that is somebody's interpretation of what the brand voice is, as opposed to really being able to put up some guardrails on that. One of the things I've done is within Chat GPT, you can see my screen, I take it.
Yes.
Within Chat GPT, I have created Englander GPT, the copywriting assistant for Englander, and I fed it all of our history, all of our old ads, a lot of brand voice information, a PDF of our style guide, mountains and mountains of information to get it to understand who we are and what makes Englander different. So I typed in a little prompt here, and the prompt says, if you're not watching on YouTube, write a blog post about why Englander's history and heritage matters to mattress shoppers. So what it's supposed to do now is access our database of information around Englander and make sure that it's creating a blog post that is on brand for us. So right out of the gates here, I can show you this line alone signals to me that it's doing its job. Englander's story begins in 1894 in New York City. Our founder, Max Englander, set out with a clear vision to handcraft comfortable, long-lasting mattresses that were accessible to everyone. And then it even gets into our time in the World War I, where we were making Red Cross mattresses, partnering with Goodyear Rubber Tire Company. It's got all these specifics in here that are only going to be known if it has that database of information. And then on top of that, it just lays it out in a very nice, logical manner. So that's just one use case. But if you think about the control, the constraints, the inability to create content with those controls and constraints in place, this is a huge hack and an easy solve.
Yeah, and it's, they've got free versions and they've got some paid versions, but the amount that, like in particular that one, the cost is minimal given the output in some of this content.
And the cool thing is too, and you're going to have to guess if this is happening now or not, you can have generative AI write something for you. And if you have a certain voice, you can feed that information, have it write it for you as if it was a human speaking. You can feed it into an AI voice generator that can be based on your voice, which I've created. And then you can have it do an entire podcast for you. So I don't think we're doing that right now, but maybe we'll experiment with that down the road.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, you can't make those sweat when you were doing that live demo. You can't make the AI sweat like I was sweating when you were doing that live demo.
Yeah, the glistening is real.
Yeah, the glistening, that's real. You bring up a good point. Like these multimodals, what they call it, or modes is a fancy word for modes there, in that you can have one create content, you can have one create a picture, you can have one create voice, you can have one create video, you can have them create various things, and then you can stitch them all together to create this holistic piece of digital content or whatever it may be. And then even layer in automation and have it go post for you.
Another tool I've been using that's really fun is say you have a mountain of data in a CSV file. I've been using Ask CSV, and it just unlocks insights about your data. And I think that's the thing that is most exciting for me, especially in relation to your business, autonomous retail technology. It's like taking these web tools that might be one-offs here and there and putting a corral around it and creating a space and a place where it's usable and actionable for your business, your specific business. Whether it's, hey, I want a sales report and 10 good questions I can talk about to the board, or it's, hey, we're drafting a legal document and we want to, include certain information in that legal document from HR and from the business side of things, or human, whatever it might be. Now your legal team has the ability to access that information and use it and do something. Not only use it for themselves, but have it made for you so you get into a more strategic review mindset as opposed to cranking out everything that you used to crank out. It's just an amazing time to be alive. If you embrace it, again, if you think about it as this is the Iron Man suit and I have it, I have to learn how to use it the best. And in our Mattress Mentorship Mastermind group, we talked about you either have an assistant or you are an assistant. And this is your assistant. It's assisted intelligence.
Absolutely. We use it for everything. We use it to, one of the use cases here is we take all of our product reviews. So these have been syndicated reviews. We scrape those, we pull out all the keywords out of those and understand exactly what the customer's searching for, what they appreciate about the product, what they don't like about the product, and then we'll repurpose that to automatically generate content on the PDP page or in marketing materials or whatever. So then you're actually getting what that end shopper liked or disliked about a product, and you're able to address that or highlight it within the PDP page, which is then serves back into Google. So it just makes your entire content portfolio that much more efficient and effective in reaching that customer where they're shopping, where they're searching, with a message that likely resonates to them. So, you can use it. If you can think it, you can use it for basically anything.
Well, and that's, I think, one of the key things. Start using it, start asking questions, start imagining, hey, could I automate this process? Could I remove human error? Could I improve what people on our team are doing by giving them this information? Like you said, the possibilities are seemingly limitless. And hey, Brandon, I can't wait to see what you and your team at Autonomous Retail Technology build. I'll put links to your website in the show notes. So if you go over to fam.news, you can get all that information. And of course, I know you're on LinkedIn, so people can reach out to you there. What did we not touch on that you want people to know about AI and generative AI in this world?
You put me on the spot here. Let me think
He's
about
glistening.
it.
He's glistening. It's real.
Yeah,
It's really him.
That's real. This wasn't a fake. You should ask GPT. It'll come out with a much faster and more clear answer than I'm about to give you. I think just try it, right? Like don't look at it as this massive elephant that you have to eat all in one bite. I think just you can get out there and just test and try some things, whether they're in your personal life. Like, for example, we made a we were looking for it's the classic question on Sunday afternoon when your wife comes to you and says, what do you want to eat every single meal for the rest of the week? I'm like, oh my God, you're asking, I don't even know what I want to eat for dinner tonight. And you're trying to hit me with this. So you can use it in your personal life. And I just kind of quickly, when she turned her back, shoved something in there. And then it gives me a great, here's what I want to eat. And I hand it to her and she's like, oh my gosh. Okay. So you can use it in your personal life. You can use it in your business. You just get out there and I think just test it and kick the tires. If it's something for you or you need a hand holding, reach out to people that you know, because I guarantee you that somebody's used it out there. And if you're looking to go to the next stage to automate things, that's kind of the next step is, can you make things run more efficient, not just generate things? Then that's a whole nother level of learning. But just start really, really with the basics and just get in there and kick around, ask it questions.
It really solves so many problems and consolidates so many different business ideas. I remember I had a friend who was doing like a cocktail a day and he was trying to learn to be a mixologist. And I was like, you know what, it'd be really great if we could just insert the ingredients you have in the house for a cocktail, and then it would tell you what you can make. And there was this whole idea he had for an app. Well, now that's what it does. That's what Chat GPT does. And these other technologies is like, hey, you got some ingredients in the pantry, shove them in there, see what you can make out of that. You know what we should do? Let's ask our friend here as we close out the show. Let's just see if they'll do it for us. Okay, it's spinning up. Hey, we're about to finish up our podcast. We want you to give the outro for the podcast and thank people listening for being here and listening to Brandon Hufstetler and myself, Mark Kinsley.
Sure, I'd be happy to help with your podcast outro. Here's a suggestion. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's episode. It's been a fantastic journey exploring the impact of ChatGPT and AI on mattress retailers with Brandon Hufstetler and myself, Mark Kinsley. We're grateful for your time and engagement. Remember to stay curious and keep exploring the ever-evolving world of technology and retail. If you enjoyed our discussion, don't forget to subscribe for more insightful episodes. Until next time, take care and keep dreaming big. Feel free to adjust it to fit the tone.
No, that was great. Thank you so much. He said it actually better than I could. And of course, thank you, Brandon, so much for being here, my friend.
Yes, thanks for having me, buddy.